McFarland. Welcome into Cross My Heart Ministry. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Well, as the end of July comes and it's time to turn the page of the calendar to a new month, that means it's also time for us to introduce our free download that we call the Do It List. Some of you have been following our channel for a long time and have made use of this handy resource. This was birthed or developed from years of managing my home and raising 4 kids and trying to figure out how to keep it all together and keep things clean and tidy and organized. I didn't always do a great job. But through the years, I just learned that having a list and making a plan and working that plan was the way to make it happen. The thing about it is, when you're trying to manage a home and raise kids, just about the time you figure it all out, they're all grown and out the door, and life changes dramatically. So I developed this really after I was finished with all those years, and I've been blessed to see how that's been a great resource to other moms that are still raising kids, but also to empty nesters that just want to sort of have a plan to keep the house going. I think one of the things that makes the list so workable and so easy is that it's all on one page. And I think if a plan is going to work, it has to be simple. And so if you're familiar with it, or maybe if you're not, we have a daily section, a weekly section, and a monthly section. So the daily chores, you just check those boxes off, do as many as you can each day, as many as you're interested in doing. Obviously, you tailor this to your life and to your family and your needs and your wants and desires for your home. There might be some that you just line through. We leave blank lines so you can add other things that you would like to put on your list. The weekly chores, of course, are only done once a week, so there's 4 columns for those, one for each week of the month. And then those monthly chores that just need to be done once, we change those out occasionally so that you can look at those being sort of seasonal jobs and that kind of thing. So the Do It List is workable, I think, because it's all on one page. It's all there in one little easy resource for you. I know there's lots of organizational tips out there and planners and 3-ring binders and multiple pages. I think it just needs to be simple to make it work. Many of you probably already know this, but I love to tell the story about how the Do It List got its name. Our firstborn granddaughter, Julia Grace, who's now 7, when she was about 3, she had this funny little way of responding when you would invite her to do something. If you said, "Hey, Julia Grace, do you want to go to the park?" or "Do you want to go for a walk?" or "Do you want to go to the pool?" she would always say, "Let's do it." And so it just tickled us so much that we began to say that in our family. And so when somebody suggests something, typically somebody in the family is going to say, "Let's do it." And so thinking about that, when I was looking for a name for the chore list and just didn't want to call it the chore list, I thought, I'll let Julia Grace name it for me. We'll call it the Do It List. And so that's what we've done. So each month when we introduce the new Do It List, I usually grab one of the items on the list from either the daily, weekly, or monthly checklist, and I unpack one of those and give some ideas for how to make that happen. And so on the list for August is the freezer inventory, but that could also be the pantry shelf inventory. And so by that, what I mean is to take inventory of what you already have. It's easy to go to the grocery store and think, "Oh, am I out of this? Let me grab it." And you get home and you realize, I already had 3 bottles of olive oil. I really didn't need to buy it. Or I already had a couple of packages of flour or whatever. So sometimes I think it's really good just to open up your pantry shelves or open up the freezer, take a look at what you already have, and make an intentional effort to use that up before you go buy something else. So I did that today. Instead of taking a look in my freezer, though, I looked at my pantry shelves, and I found 3 things that are there, and I'm going to share how I'm going to intentionally use those things this month. And so this is me practicing what I'm encouraging you to do. So first on the list is Tikki Masala. Now, my daughter Ginger got us all turned on to Indian food. When she was doing her MBA program, she was taking an international trip to India, and they prepared for that by learning about the Indian culture before they went, and they ate Indian food, and she grew to love it, and she wanted us to go out for Indian food, and I kept resisting. It just didn't sound like something I would like, and so finally, I think it was actually her birthday, so I couldn't say no when I said, "Where would you like to go to eat for your birthday?" We were going to go out that year. So she suggested Indian food, so I said, "Okay, we'll do the Indian food." And sure enough, I loved it. And now I found that you can buy the Tikki Masala at the grocery store. This one comes from Aldi. I forgot it was back there, but all you need to do is cook your chicken, brown it on top of the stove with I slice up some peppers and onions, put the sauce on top, and it just gets nice and bubbly. You can serve it over rice. You can buy some naan, which is the Indian bread, and it is so yummy, just absolutely delicious. I love, 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 love it. I forgot I had an extra jar there. So our family will be enjoying some Indian food next week. The other thing I found is a box of Ritz Crackers, and I think somebody gave these to me because I normally buy the store brand, but the Ritz ones are great. And so I usually keep Ritz Crackers around to make my recipe for poppy seed chicken. Now, I have featured that on a YouTube Martha Monday sometime in the last few months, I think, so we'll put the link to that below if you want to check out that recipe. But now that Kevin and I are empty nesters, what I like to do when I make the poppy seed chicken is to make it in a couple of smaller containers. These are Pyrex containers. They're smaller. They have a nice lid that's airtight, perfect for freezing. So instead of making that all in one long casserole, I will usually make it in 3 smaller pans. I'll go ahead and freeze a couple of them before I bake them, and so it's just enough for us to have a meal. I'll make some rice and a salad or a veggie to go with it, and it's perfect. So when I make the whole container of poppy seed chicken just for the 2 of us, we really get tired of it before it's all gone. But I need to use up my Ritz Crackers, so poppy seed chicken will be on our dinner menu coming up. And then the third thing I found is a package of Great Northern beans. Now, beans really don't go bad, at least I don't think they do, but they'll need to be used up eventually, and with fall coming and busy schedules kicking back in, I'd love to have some soup prepared and in the freezer. So I'll soak these. I'll make my recipe for white chicken chili. And again, I think that recipe was featured in a Martha Monday maybe a year or so ago, not sure, but we'll dig up that link, put it there, you can check it out. And so we'll eat that one night, but then I like to freeze it in these little containers for soup. So I've got a couple of these, and then sometimes the Pyrex dishes with the lids work as well. So that is just a great thing to have those stockpiled in the freezer. I can pull one out to thaw and have it for lunch or dinner, maybe make some homemade bread. It's just delicious. It's when I think about soup, it's hard to think about soup sounding very appetizing when the temperatures are up in the 90s, but fall is coming, and fall is always soup weather, and that's just a great time to have some soup or chili stockpiled. So these are the things that I found on my pantry shelves. So I'm curious for you to open up the shelves of your pantry or go open up the door of your freezer and dig around and tell me what treasures you find in there and how you're going to use those up and make good use of those before they meet their expiration date. Thank you for spending this time with us today. I'm Laura McFarland, and I hope you'll print your copy of the Do It list and get cracking, checking off those boxes. Now, just a reminder, this is not legalistic. You don't have to check every box every single day. If you're new to this, just do what you can. The thing that I figured out with all those years of working on this and putting it together is that you just can't have one day that is cleaning day and get organized day. We wouldn't even want to get out of bed on that day if that's what it looked like. But if you'll just start checking a few things off your list each day, just over time, you're going to find that your house is neat and tidy and clean. You're not going to be embarrassed or feel shame if somebody rings the doorbell unexpectedly. And I just hope that this resource turns out to be a great blessing to you, as it has been for other viewers of our channel. So again, thanks for spending this time with us. Have a blessed week. For Cross My Heart Ministry, I'm Laura McFarland.